Welcome back to the European final of the Road to Vegas. We are on map 2. Dignitas taking map 1 with 2 stand-ins at the moment. Kjærbye putting in a great performance for them. Now we head to train. So, again, I'm joined by Dan, Halvor and Janko. Let's start with Halvor. Janko, because Halvor's over there. Halvor, how are you expecting this one to go?
Well, I think it's going to be more difficult for Dignitas on trains because the way the map works, I feel that you need a lot more coordination and a lot more team play to be successful on train, especially on the T side. It's much more difficult to do something by yourself to make room for a team individually. So I can see Lounge coming back on train, but it always goes both ways. When you have strong individual players, if you manage to get that push onto the sites, and then they can get the trade frags that are much needed. So we'll see.
Dan.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a must for Dignitas to start on the CT side because I feel like, as Janko mentioned, the T side can be quite a nightmare. But I think it's actually fairly realistic that they could rack up a lot of rounds on the CT side. I think that's a possibility. There are always concerns with intrinsically understanding who's playing where, so that when somebody dies, when you see on the kill tracker that someone dies on your team, that you know, okay, this is open now, because stuff happens really fast and angles open really quickly on trains. So that's kind of a must. That's the only issue I really see for them. But I think if Dignitas start on CT side, get maybe 8, 9, 10 rounds, I think they could be quite good for this one.
And finally, Halvor, what are your thoughts on the potential proceedings here on train?
Well, the good, the bad, and well, to take the good and the bad. The good is that normally train is Dignitas' best map, so that they have the groundwork at least, and MSL was able to do a good job on Cash to actually whip the stand-ins into shape and actually follow his lead, so that's a good sign going into train. But as Janko and Dan mentioned, it's a heavily coordinated, or you need to be heavily coordinated on that map to actually be successful, and that's going to be where the potential bane of Dignitas is, because we saw that on a couple of executions on Cash. They weren't as crisp as we normally would have seen from that team in the full lineup, and I think they're going to have to be to a certain extent if they're going to get T rounds on train. And I also think the CT side is pretty tough to actually play out, simply because the rotations that you have to get in time really is going to be really hard to do if you're not really coordinated, and also knowing what players are holding what spots at certain times when you're not playing with your usual crew.
All right, well, Lounge are going to be starting on the CT side, unfortunately for Dignitas, as Lounge did win the knife round. So it was their choice, and the choice has been made. SZPERO is going to be on the defuse kit and HE grenades with 4 players on Kevlars. I do wonder whether HE is due from SZPERO. He is in the connector area, so he could potentially throw it into main for his teammate to try and follow up on. But there are many players from Dignitas coming up in IB. They've been spotted, and the CT's managed to escape for the time being with the information, but mouz has now fallen on the site.
Yeah, this is going to be quite chaotic at this point. They're trying to get the bomb down, scrambling now. But the CTs have done a good job in dropping that bomber, and now it's just Kjærbye. He did great stuff in the last map, but this is a massive job to do, and he's going to get completely obliterated by the nades and the multiple players left on Lounge. So Lounge even get that good CT start. So this really does spell doom and destruction for Dignitas, unless we see them somehow adapt a more simplified train, a series of executes or pushes to make up for this.
Well, this is where we can hope that Dignitas have watched Anders' Theorycraft videos, so
right,
they know how they know the 3 smokes they need to put down to do a yard push every single round. Well, Edison taking a pretty aggressive position here with the MP9 in Pop Dog.
Also known as a money printing machine.
True. It's not quite the bank of Fnatic that JW rocks.
Not quite, because he would often be seen in that position with said weapon, which is a Mag 7. So, flying stand-in with the bomb will be enough for Kjærbye to come in with the trade, and the bomb plant looks likely here. Is SZPERO going to risk going for the push? He's not going to be given the opportunity, RUBINO, with the one shot to take him down. Dignitas has picked up a FAMAS, and this is a force buy, which means RUBINO has full armor with this FAMAS.
Yeah, we got mouz trying to close the distance with that MP9, and he actually will manage to do so. He's found himself at the bomb, but that's not the hard part. The hard part is these 2 players who are lurking above, and there is the peek. Good flash, and the spray comes in from RUBINO. That's going to be completely on point. Both players will be eliminated, and that is a 1-1 now. So, wow. Interesting stuff here. Dignitas actually swinging things back around.
Massively important round for Dignitas, and great job from Cajun managing to pick up that instant trade kill on the one player from CSGL Lineup playing on that inner bomb side, getting the bomb plant down as well. And after that, Config managed to do just enough damage to let MSL get a frag on the guy backstabbing quickly. So, no, just really well played out from Dignitas.
4-man push from Dignitas above B. We have some sound cues from Lounge, but they're going to lose 2 players. Done some damage to KGB and MSL, but it's frags that count here in the road to Vegas. Lounge Gaming now with just Innocent remaining with Kevlar. Still heading towards the site here. Config charging through the fire. And he will take the final frag. And that bonus money as well. So we have seen a lot of MP9s and MAC-10s in buy rounds from other teams. I do wonder if that will continue. I would be surprised, all things considered, but it's going to be Lounge on another eco for the time being. And now we see the Garden Hose coming out for RUBINO. The 2-man spray down over towards the B-bomb site with a nice flash from a teammate earlier.
Pretty quick push out into yard from Dignitas though, and they should know that they're up against an eco once more, so this is quite a bit surprising for them.
Yeah, this would really signify quite what is difficult about this A bomb site. When the Ts are able to get really forward positions everywhere, they are hitting you from every single side at once. It's very difficult to deal with. So 3-1, Dignitas looking pretty good on the money, and the AWP is finally going to be found on Lounge. So will be interesting to see whether that's going to be helping them or hindering them.
Indeed, Config will continue with the MP9. The shenanigans will ensue, or they may ensue. You call it greed, Halvor.
I call it greed. He's got 8.4k, so he definitely should upgrade here.
Sanden getting taken down through the tiniest gap by MICHU. The Innocent will be taken down elsewhere. Config has made it deep into the site, and that moving accuracy may come in handy. We'll have to see if he gets anything done with it. Coming in with the flank now, and he's going to take that MICHU straight away. The last 2 players make that the last player does have a helmet, but Config's got that good upgrade. AWP from MP9, won't be complaining about that. 3 versus 1, and SZPERO will be finished off. A strong start after losing the pistol by Dignitas.
Funny that, you called the greed on Config, but it seems like everything he touches is turning to gold at this point. Full King Midas mode. Wow. And he's got a huge bank. He's picked up an AWP, so he's really turned quite the profit there.
I wonder if he's going to drop that off to either RUBINO or KGen. But I think in that case he must have touched RUBINO, because RUBINO managed to get a 4K that round and pretty much saved it. So, well, Dignitas, they get away with some, well, I guess a tiny bit risky play. Not that massively. Obviously, the rest of the team had AKs, and that worked pretty well for them.
I think the benefit is on a map like this, you can just jump around corners and just spam with it. Yeah,
the problem is if you're actually at some point you have to turn a corner and actually face a long distance, and that's when you're completely useless. So that's the worry for me when I see people stick with those SMGs going into buy rounds.
Well, now it's going to be the eco for Lounge once again. Dignitas racking up quite a nice score so far. They did well in the previous eco, streaming into the A site, but now they're doing quite the opposite and just holding quite statically. Indeed, they are using that range over towards Ivy, where they're starting to push now. Cage and B, though, getting taken down from close by Innocent.
It's looking like Dignitas are finding a lot of good engagements in these A areas of the map on train, and they are making their way in all together now, pretty much. And we actually saw Lounge go for this gamble before as well, stacking the B bomb site, expecting the kind of anti-eco play to go through B, through inner, but Dignitas both times have just gone through to yard. So that's of course resulted in a lot of carnage here for Dignitas against Lounge.
It's a nice coordination that we're seeing from Dignitas, where again 3 players came down Ivy, and they're basically using the bomb site as bomb train, as let's say a giant ruler. They basically stayed above it, so they took half the site slanted and put themselves in a position where MSL had an angle from Ivy towards the back wall, but he didn't necessarily need to go around the corner because none of his teammates were exposed to any angles the CTs could hold from that position. So despite having 2 subs, to have such coordination is quite nice to see.
What's kind of fun to see as well is the fact that they're letting Cajun run around alone. So I guess the core of Dignitas that are still on the server, they're kind of doing their own thing, and they have enough confidence in Cajun to not make silly mistakes. Even though it gets picked off there, we've seen him several times on cash that he's able to just work by himself as well.
You will note the double AWPs now coming out for Lounge Gaming. MICHU holding a tight angle. As tight as it is, he's still going to get flashed, but the shoulder peek could be strong here.
So he does get a tag, and there are multiple Dignitas players there in the vicinity, and MICHU's going to get the smoke in his face. So it's going to be difficult for him to connect any extra shots, potentially, if the nades are to follow through the smoke. And there is another one. To me, he's going to fall back as he realizes the presence is getting forward, more forward and more forward. But he gets to a good position. RUBINO goes to the challenge. He's going to get caught out as Sandon's still trying to open up this bomb site. He's doing a remarkable job. That's the second kill coming in. 2 entries, and now 3 versus 3. Dignitas are in with the real shots.
If the CT side gets stuck behind these choke points with 2 orcs, they may be in trouble. SZPERO forcing his way through the fire, but the bullets will follow up on those flames. And things will slow down once again. 45 seconds on the clock here for Dignitas to play with, so... The bomb is on the site, however. MICHU's gone down, so now it's a question of if oskarish can find a frag without being traded by these players. Moving onto the site, trying to use that as an extra wall.
Sandon is already on 4 kills. That is a good result from a stand-in.
Well, Sandon stand-in is what he's going to get for this round. Nice flash there, and now looks like oskarish may try to play the clock somewhat. 15 seconds left, and he'll get the spray down to finally get Lounge's second round on the board. But what an expensive one, saving the New York, but losing 4 players in the process.
Tiny bit fortunate, actually, that Lounge ends up getting that round as well. MICHU getting caught out in that 2v2 situation with a nade in his hand as Sandon picks up his 4th frag, but weirdly enough, with the pressure that Dignitas put on, even though Lounge were the ones getting the favorable trades at the beginning of the round, they ended up being pushed out of the site. So Dignitas got a ton of space to actually work with to gain some control back and allow Sandon to pick up so many frags.
And I saw RUBINO had 16k in his bank at the start of that round. So Dignitas pretty good on the money.
Meat sandwich delivered. Face first into RUBINO. Bomb pushing into the B bomb site now.
It's going to be oskarish to defend. He's doing a good job so far. 2 frags for him. As Dignitas struggle to get even a single kill back their way. No damage done from Dignitas. None at all. So that was really the perfect round for Lounge. I mean, they really needed a clean one.
Yeah, and there we also see the problem with the execution that we figured Dignitas might run into. You see one guy stopping by the first train instead of running further and towards the side to taking the duel with oskarish. So instead you have the second guy coming for oskarish. That gives oskarish more time. And thirdly, there's no follow-up after that guy goes down to oskarish. So oskarish gets plenty of time to get one-on-one duels instead of having to go up against 2 or 3 people.
Well, Dignitas looking for a fast play into the A site once again. Smokes all over the shop, and they are getting taken down. I think the bomb might be stuck between some trains at the moment as opposed to on the roof. It did fall off, but they're losing all the frags. MSL with only the 1 frag getting traded. KGB versus 4 now. Another massively successful round for Lounge. Great for their economy, only losing 1 player, and momentum is definitely in their favor as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and they still have a lot of money to throw around here for another buy. And I feel if Dignitas are able to get to the 6, 7, 8 rounds, they're going to feel really amazing for their T side. And we saw after the B frustration that they just went out for A because it's simpler. Perhaps they are feeling that lack of coordination that Halvor was describing.
Well, they do have an op on RUBINO now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if they slow it down, see if RUBINO can find a pick, potentially towards the bomb site. Well, it's going to be innocent to find the first frag. It's actually going to find the second one onto config as well. So a great start for the Polish team here.
Things not going the way of the Dignitas side. That was, I think MSL got a bit more stuck on the ladder than he would have liked to when he went for that push, and config trying to follow up, unable to do so. Weapon collected, it seems.
Very risky play there from Cajun.
Yeah, well, they've got limited numbers now, and there's going to be many lasers pointing their way. No matter what angle they push in. Innocent coming in with a flank, and he could stop Dignitas before they even get started. Sandon expecting it, going to bring down his crosshair, but that could have given the game away. Maybe Dignitas expecting a rotation, moving back towards Pop Dog, but I don't know how much Lounge will have seen on Innocent's kill cam. They're positioning over towards Pop. MICHU with what could be a money nade, but not going to get out just yet. 30 seconds on the clock now. Dignitas just going to sit down to make things a little bit uncertain for Lounge.
Mouse's position here, though, is really, really good. If MICHU is able to take any sort of attention from the guys coming out pop, then he's in a golden opportunity.
That does look golden, but only good for 1 kill. KGB left with a versus 3 now. Time against him, and so are the CT weapons. So Lounge with another round on the board, 5-5. Score being evened up, but Dignitas' economy has now fallen. The scales going in favor of Lounge.
And as well, as weird as it sounds in that situation, I would have liked to see Dignitas continue to try towards that inner bomb site, because when Innocent goes down, it's going to create a rotation, but probably not a massive rotation from Lounge Gaming towards the inner bomb site. And at that point, you still need another pick if you're Dignitas and you want to get onto a site. So that kind of gives you more opportunities to find someone potentially easier on Lounge's from Lounge Gaming. But they decided to go pop with all three.
It's party time on the B bomb site.
It's going to be the potential throwaway now. They have gone for a quasi-buy just due to the fact that they were just shy of enough money to get a solid, proper buy-in. So the good thing for them is that they have lost so many rounds already that their bonus is pretty huge. So they have a pretty massive buy in the following round. But that said, looking to try to get some kills onto Lounge, and it's going to be Kjærbye that gets one, but how many more can they find? The bomb is actually going to go down as well, so extra money being made. Kjærbye almost getting a third kill there as the AK is picked up by Config, and all of a sudden we have a winnable round here going in the way of Dignitas potentially. If Config can get an extra frag, split between MSL and Config, Innocent's going to go down, but now a 1 versus 1. MSL only has a Tech 9, and there is a flashbang. What is MICHU going to do here? He throws out the smoke. It is the mind games. That bomb is ticking way too fast now. MICHU does get the kill finally, forcing out his opponent. But does he have enough time? It's going to be close. And it is just barely enough time. But half a second left. Well, 0.4 as you can see there. And Lounge will steal that one away.
They will definitely steal that, because that round was won. MSL peaked as soon as he started defusing. If he waits 3 seconds and then peaks, either he gets a kill or he gets killed, and the round can no longer be won.
Yeah, that's true. I think MSL got a tiny bit scared because he'd been so cold, had so much ice in his veins for the 2 first fake defuses that he figured that he just had to go for it at that point. It's really tough to actually make that call. Still a great eco.
Good start here from Lounge. Taking the lead now over Dignitas, 1 round to the good, but there are many Danish players headed their way on the A bomb site. Can they find the angles there? RUBINO going to get the first one onto SZPERO. Very important player to take down. Innocent soon to follow. Trades coming in for both sides now. Man advantage for the T's as that bomb rotates towards the IV position. But can they get on the bomb site? mouz is on the bomb site itself. RUBINO though will take him away, leaving oskarish to try and defend. But so many angles that look the wrong way at the wrong time. Config coming in for the headshot. Dignitas back to winning ways.
Yeah, RUBINO's playing like a man's man right now. 14 kills already. And opening that round as well with finding a frag through the smoke. So he's doing his part to make sure that Dignitas get away from the first half with a pretty decent result. And I think 6 rounds already is actually fairly doable. I think they can work with that even if they lose the remaining 3 rounds of the first half.
So now it's the a bigger buy from Dignitas after winning that round. They got 3 players towards Ali looking for a potential pick. MICHU's there as well. Are they going to go for the double peek? Well, it's a little bit slow, and that's going to allow MICHU to get away with murder as he falls back after smoking. And that was, again, perhaps one of those less coordinated moments for Dignitas as MSL gets himself into a forward position on the yard. He's going to find an entry. mouz goes down, the trade comes in, but that's going to cue Dignitas to start the aggression again.
Yeah, MICHU's going to have to change the position as well because he's only got 16 HP, susceptible to nades, etc. And he does want to take these players by surprise. So IB's been compromised. The T's have taken it. The bomb is down in main though, so one of them's going to have to go back to retrieve it. Meanwhile, the numbers game is not going to go the way of Dignitas. Config on rotation to grab the bomb. Going to get taken down by MICHU. Traded by Sandin. But now oskarish has the advantage as he knows where Sandin is. May not know where the bomb is. And let's see, there are 40 seconds for Sandin to play with as he makes his way over there. But it's purely a guessing game amongst all these angles on the A sites.
Yeah, he's got to be careful here because he's going to have, by the time he gets the bomb, he's more or less going to have to run onto the site. So all this walking here, he's got no idea where his opponent oskarish is, and oskarish doesn't have any idea either where the bomb could be, so he's just waiting connector. So a bit of a funny situation in that sense. But the bomb will finally make its way onto the A site, and we'll get the safe plant here from Sandin as Oskar knows what's going on, and his ears perk up as he looks for the engagement. Oh, Sandin turns away just at the wrong timing, and that's going to cost him the round. But Dignitas with another very close one.
MICHU just saving that round for Lounge Gaming. Actually picked up all 4 kills with 16 HP on him.
And all because the double peek was mistimed as well.
Yeah. There you go, coordination being the name of the game for Dignitas, or I guess being the bane for Dignitas in that situation. But still, with the bomb plant, they're going to get a buy-in here. MSL having to opt for that Tech 9 instead, but he's going to get a lot of nades, so likely to see, with the 2 Molotovs, I actually wouldn't be too surprised if we saw inner execute coming out from Dignitas at this point. Just going fast out into yard, I guess.
Can they win the duels though? That's what they've been losing recently. And again, this is a variance map. There we go, instant trades over towards B. That's going to cause a massive rotation from the CTs, and MICHU getting taken down on A is going to leave all the CTs stuck in the choke point. Tandem getting a nade down just in time, but can't stop the CTs from coming back out into A. And the bomb's rotated as well, being spotted by the CTs. SZPERO and Innocent with 3 fast frags, only mouse going down, and it's fallen on a pass again for Dignitas. MSL, the leader, in a 2 versus 1 on the A site with a rotation coming in to try and find a surprising angle. Innocent will finish things off there. So many small decisions taken very quickly, all ended up on the A sites.
And actually a bit of a misrotation from Lounge Gaming, saving them in that situation, because they rotate pretty much everyone back before they see Dignitas rotating away from the B bomb site just because of Sandin, and that's a guy who doesn't have the bomb. But in the end, that rotation ends up being perfect for them, with Dignitas deciding to, well, they probably assume that CSGL Lineup are not going to make that massive rotation because Sandin does not have the bomb.
Yeah, Lounge looking to get the 9-6. It's looking quite strong for them, as the buy is lacking. It's wanting for Dignitas as they set up the play. Now, they have a bit of a spread of players at the moment, but you would expect an execute from them in this kind of a spot. They've got Secret, they've got the alley area, and we can only just wait and see how their execute's going to pan out here, whether or not Lounge will get a bit aggressive, but there's no need for them to be aggressive in any sense. Lounge are just going to sit and stay in their good positions. Ooh, we see a fake here into the B bomb side. Might be a fake. As we've got Orbanese going into B. Can they sell it? Doesn't look like... actually, rounds have rotated an extra player, but will it be enough here for Dignitas to take the round?
They've rotated 2 players into CT, but I don't know how challenged the connector area is. We've got Innocent just holding an angle. Mouz and MICHU though being lost elsewhere. There is a flank coming in from the CTs, and that's all that's going to remain for them, as it's their turn to face the brunt of the aggression, with oskarish coming down top. Got 1 frag, but now everyone knows where he is. There are 2 HEs to throw in as well, but Config will finish things off with the M4. So, good start by Dignitas, but finishing 7 to 8 in favour of Lounge.
Was that Sandin or RUBINO that just walked through alley and got behind 2 players that no one was looking?
That was RUBINO.
RUBINO, yeah, that's crazy.
And
that should not have happened.
I think there was a tiny bit of karma, really, from for that one-on-one Sandin had with oskarish, where he looked away at the wrong time, because there you could see people from Lounge Gaming just getting caught out by the millisecond of timing being well, in place for Dignitas, and they get 7 rounds on their T side, and that's pretty good. They've on catch they were pretty strong on pistols, lost the first one in this game, but with the pistol win here, they can go far. Yeah,
we have now the occupation of the inner or the secret area as the bomb is by Popdog and 2 players towards T main. So you might expect an A aggression here from Lounge, as they do go for the smokes, the wall of smokes there. And let's see if they can use those smokes to get the bomb plant at the very least. Where is the bomb going to go? Got 2 players attacking inner right now, so that's a little bit unsure what's going on, as the bomb is still yet to be spotted. Now it's going to be spotted by Popdog as it makes its way towards the A bomb site. So Lounge have successfully made this fake work, but Sandin is up above. He could save the day.
Can't do anything about the plant though. KGB coming around the corner, but Sandin's going to steal the frag from him. So we've got 1 player on electric box and the flank coming in from MICHU, but he's going for the strafe peek at just the wrong angle, unbeknownst to him, down to the 1 versus 1 now around the electric box. KGB has a little bit of time with that kit, but headshots need to be found here. Innocent's going to be the one to do it. Lounge take the pistol.
It's always so awkward, those pistol engagements. Just, there's no way of knowing who's going to win them.
Yeah, and I think in that situation, Cajun actually should be able to win the duel being taken there, because sure, you get the footsteps, that helps Innocent, but still you can't be 100% sure of what angle he's going to come from and at what pace, and that's all controlled by Cajun.
Well, it's the 4 spot here from Dignitas, and MSL is just, he doesn't care. Wow, this timing is really sick, but he gets absolutely nothing. He's got RUBINO there to go for the trade, and it is successful. There's another CT lurking up there as well. They're trying to go for all kinds of frags, but just being caught short before they can really get the punishes in. And Dignitas, that could have been so huge, but it ended up being rather flat in the end.
So in a position where great great individual skills saved them in the previous map. That time, MSL probably should have had the first kill. RUBINO could have gotten the second, and Config, who kind of just ran up and down the ladder, definitely should have had it once the second player from CSGL Lineup was actually focused on RUBINO. But here you go. Lounge get off to a pretty good start, not losing nearly as many people as they potentially should have done in that round. So that leaves them with quite some room to actually build up some bank here, as Dignitas are going to have to go for a complete save.
That is the most complete save in recent memory. Would only be more complete if they all stayed in CT spawn.
No. Drop their weapons.
3-round lead for the Lounge side. Soon to be 4, no doubts. See how many have I spoken too soon. 2 frags coming in for the Dignitas team, but now they're all dead, which is expected in this particular scenario. So let's see what they have to offer now on their buy round. The M4's coming out. Smokes, flashes, 1 HE.
And this is a pretty big round for Dignitas. As you can see, they've scraped up everything they have in their reserves to get something out of this round. They don't really have that many needs. They have a lot of smokes, but they don't have any Molotovs at all, which is pretty big to have on a map like Train.
So we will have now a Lounge side that do have a full lineup, so they should be a little bit more coordinated than Dignitas. But Dignitas are going to pick up the first frag. Config getting a bit aggressive there by Popdog, and that's really important because that's going to be some nades now out of the hands of Lounge. Slightly weak in their push. So Dignitas are in a good spot now. SZPERO looking to even it up. So the numbers, the flick comes in, and he will just clip Kjærbye. So denied the frag, but the damage is in. And Sander now getting a frag as well by Ali. This is not working out for Lounge. So maybe they've waited too long before throwing in their set play on A.
50 seconds on the clock. SZPERO always lethal though. Always something to worry about. Config is taking some risks here towards A main, but SZPERO's gone back to throw smoke, I believe. And now Config is surely going to go down. Taking down oskarish first though. And indeed, SZPERO's coming in, and now he's facing a crossfire, but he's got teammates to help him out. Kjærbye's being lost to SZPERO later on. Well, Config running out of bullets in his M4, but he's making it work with the USB, and he has been trolling these guys from the E-box for so long. I don't know how he survived. 1 HP, Jesus.
1 single fiber of life left. That is quite funny, actually. I loved his movement around the electric box. It was pretty awesome.
I guess you could call him the one.
Nicely done. So 11-8, Dignitas able to have a very strong defense there. Lounge perhaps could be better served after the initial loss to just go for it. They put a lot of faith into SZPERO. You can't really blame them though. But a bit faster this time, but the pace will be met with lethal force. Dignitas here with multiple kills, Sander getting 3 in fact as they go out of T-main 1 at a time, and Kjærbye chiming in as well to make life a complete nightmare for Lounge Gaming. One more frag there for oskarish. And I am curious how Lounge's money will look should they lose this round, which is very likely at this point.
It should be pretty broke at this point, unless oskarish can actually get a bomb plant down, and you can see that here. oskarish actually being the one with the most money on their entire side. Well, for Dignitas at this point, they're not really in a good spot either. Luckily for them, 2 of the guys remaining do have quite a bit of cash to potentially drop, but they need to stay alive with at least 2 players here if they want to get a proper buy going into the next round.
Sander moving towards main as oskarish comes into Ivy. Do you wonder who this will lend opportunity to? It just comes down to who looks where at the right time in these situations, which is where the variance comes in on this map. So many corners. oskarish now could actually get the plant if he's facing connector, although that seems an unlikely plant position. So he's going for the back of the site, and there we go.
Now Sandin just needs to be really, really patient. He needs to wait for MSL. oskarish is actually getting into a really nice position here.
Yeah, he's got the high ground, and if he doesn't peek, then this could be very interesting, because it's going to be hard for Dignitas to trade with oskarish's position, bearing in mind, you can see that that's the normal position that he would hold. But they have a nice read on the situation.
That's really, really smart done. I'm not sure how they actually got the scent of it, but having MSL make noise in the ladder which clearly took the attention of oskarish, and then having Sandon push forward on top of the trains, it was just really, really, really smart done.
And that's a really big deal as well, because again, Dignitas with one map lead in this are in a great position to find themselves on a plane to Vegas, but can they even the situation, they created the opportunity now as the save is in for Lounge. That's why it was such an important round for them to win, and now we'll get simply an inner push, it would seem, from Lounge. They have some nades, well, 3 nades, and a bunch of Tech 9s and 1 Kevlar.
Indeed, that 1 Kevlar. This could prove painful for the T side. That Molotov, can they get it down fast enough? Hitting them, it's going to make their push a little bit slower. RUBINO is too close for comfort, and 2 of the Lounge players will take him down. MSL waiting for this 5 to go, and that will give Bot the bomb time to go down. KGB having to resort to pistols, and this is almost working out into a disaster for Dignitas, but Config's going to get 2 fast frags, leaving mouz and Innocent alone. mouz, the man with Kevlar, has got the M4 as well, dancing around the site, but his options are limited. All 3 CTs coming from the CT side. There's a 2 fast frags for mouz and Innocent, so this could be lost by Dignitas, and indeed, KGB is going to make a break for it. So, Lounge, I mean, 1 player had armor, but the Tech 9 is just too strong. Dignitas too close on this anti-eco.
That was just really, really awfully played by Dignitas on so many levels. First off, RUBINO should definitely be able to get 1 kill in that situation, almost regardless of what goes down. MSL firing, giving away his position behind the smoke on the guy on higher, where the chance of getting a kill is extremely limited. It's not that great, especially when he has the patience to actually wait for the Molotov in front of him to actually go out. That was just not really well done by Dignitas. Yeah, I'm really disappointed, because that should have been an easy round for Dignitas.
Yeah, I agree completely with you. And now they've got the AWP on KGB, but I mean, he's doing actually the right thing, I would say, which is just putting himself in the spot to make frags, not playing scared, because there's a possibility for them to be able to win this round, and it's definitely, the chances would be higher if KGB gets more opportunities to shoot the AWP at targets before the T's get out of the choke points, and so that's what he's trying to do. But of course, so far we can see that the T's are just chilling at the moment. It'd be quite cool to see him try and wallbang into the white holes with his AWP, but so far he's neglected to do so.
I was thinking the same thing, but I guess he's too afraid of actually someone popping out at the wrong time. And seeing how he is pretty much the entire army that Dignitas have at dispense right now, then he's going to have to go with the safe options.
The positioning from Dignitas is actually very cool though, because they've got 2 very, very forward players in team main. So if KGB hits a shot on Pop Dog, it could be exactly what the Doctor ordered now, because we have 2 players who could very quickly flank from the halls area. There's one that's going to go for it, one splitting off a Pop Dog, so now the push on B.
20 seconds left. MSL's trying to stop the bomb plant, but SZPERO's coming in just in time, very fast. Frag with the AWP there to stop that from happening, but the flank is already in position. Config coming in from the back, and there is a player covering Pop Dog, so this is going to be taken by surprise. Can he take down SZPERO as well? He's going to get flanked himself, it seems. Indeed, he will by MICHU. So now it's Sandon versus 2. SZPERO is... Can he make the exit there? Just getting shot in the legs a little bit. MICHU with the money Molotov. Sandon, though, doesn't have any defuse kit, so his time is pretty much up. The round is pretty much over, but he can save the AWP, which will be important going into the next round. Good damage done as Lounge moved to 13.
Yeah, that AWP save is actually really big, because now they actually have a pretty good buy actually, because KGB can pick it up potentially. And of course he's the lowest on cash. He can't afford really to buy a rifle or any full armor and nades, but now he can.
There you go, and this is a must-win round for Dignitas. If they lose this one, it's back to force buying and potentially allowing Lounge Gaming to get a really easy match point and potentially a map point. Or, I mean, yeah, game 2.
So SZPERO holding one of the common angles for a CT to hold after the initial seconds there. Towards the train stopper, whatever those things are called. Indeed, you just saw a glance of a CT heading for a little peek towards that position. Has now gone away as all these players will know their angles on the A sites. So SZPERO going to assume that player's potentially there, going to hold the angle, sorry, smoke off the angle, but Config, who was the player, will get taken down on top of the train. SZPERO is so dangerous with the AWP, giving his team a strong early advantage.
Lounge ready to burst out of the upper area onto the B-bomb site. 2 players, RUBINO needs to get the frags here. There's number 1, but the trade comes in, and now the pressure's on. You see this big rotation from Dignitas, maybe even an over-response because there's 3 players all assuming that it's going to be a B hit now. So everybody's out of position. There's no one really in the A-bomb, so I see Kjaerbye and Sandon making their way back around, but Lounge's pace is quite slow, so not a big punish to Dignitas' over-rotation. As we'll see, Kjaerbye must hit shots here for Kjaerbye. Absolutely must hit shots. Sandon able to hold down the yard with the very high up position there in CT's heaven. And now it's MSL wrapping around the side. Could this make the difference right now? That's put a lot of pressure. They need to get the bomb down right now. There's 15 seconds left to plant it. SZPERO gets the flick, but will there be time? Kjaerbye just needs to play this smart. And there is the bomb going down now. Which side will the peak come from SZPERO? Kjaerbye holding patiently. He's burning himself alive! What has he done?
Okay. Aha. What?
What? The anticlimax. That is the most anticlimactic thing.
Well, patience is a
What
virtue.
happened to the? What happened to the Molotov? Where's it?
He did a granny throw.
Oh no, he didn't. He right-clicked it.
And then he jumps up on it.
Wow. Unceremonious.
Well then, I guess we need to recover from that, but we won't have time. We won't have time. We need therapy for that one.
And he's gonna get a ton of bonus for actually suiciding, or not any money at all for suiciding as well.
Yeah, so he's down to the Deagle, as it's they could muster for him. But SZPERO will find his aim. Oh, he could get the money nade. Oh, denied. RUBINO tries to get out there, but it's too late. SZPERO's angry, and he picks up an M4. This time he's definitely going to get the plant, and he's got no Molotov to kill himself with. 10 HP, and he's charging in for more frags. Finally getting taken down by the CTs, but he will spot, I think, all of them there. So lots of information for Lounge. MSL remains now, and he's in a bad position with a flashbang, but no diffuse kit. Takes down MICHU, though. Could go for a frag onto Innocent, but the double peak is surely going to be coming in.
No diffuse kit.
Made his way around the box. Managed to get himself 1 versus 1. He can still wipe out the T side at least. Indeed, he will do exactly that, running towards the side. He has got a kit, but surely he is too late just about for this. I don't think he's going to get it.
Oh my god, that was really close. That had to be like 100 milliseconds or something. That was very close.
What a valiant effort.
Oh, the fact that he actually picks up a kit on his way back as well.
Yeah, that was godlike. But they've been reset, so it's surely curtains here for Dignitas.
He was coming in there like, I can be your hero, baby. So Kjaerbye has gone for the Mag 7. We have a Force. He was opting to get something down into main, but it would have been too late as there is a fast charge coming in from CSGL Lineup. 1 frag so far. Kjaerbye cannot get into position. Everybody else dying around him, and this could be the round that takes Lounge to map 3.
It very much looks that way. It very much looks that way, because Dignitas, they don't have anything in the bank.
They have absolutely nothing to work with, and CSGL Lineup making quick work of the Leicester Armory on Dignitas' end.
That jump did actually slow him down slightly.
It could have been the difference.
Was that the difference?
Yeah, where's the bunny hop bounce?
Yeah, actually that's quite funny. If he was a god like a bunny hopping, then
he would have made it.
Then he would have made it. Yeah.
So anyway, now you know, kids.
Well,
Practice
force
bunny
buy
hopping.
from Dignitas coming out, and Kjaerbye's off to a good start. We know he's a bit notorious with the Deagle. He's picked himself up an AK. MSL just trying to spot towards B, and if there is a reaction push here from Lounge, then, well, if he'd kept his close angle, he's got RUBINO for that, so we'll see what becomes of this push from Lounge Gaming. Still walking, and it will be shock and awe onto the side here as the push begins. MSL down below going to get 1 frag onto MICHU. RUBINO repositioning so he can't be seen from upper. And he could stop a plant from coming in. 2-man spray down for RUBINO, picking up an AK as well. 4 versus 1. What is going on here?
I have no comments. No comments.
Not clearing out the bomb side. This is why you want people down both lower and getting out on higher if you're going towards that inner bomb site. Oh yeah.
Now they can't play.
This is such a back and forth crazy game. Well, MICHU does have an AK in hand, so maybe he can be able to do something big here. Running right out into the yard.
charge is the name of the game. Is this the bull run? Who's going to get caught first? It seems it's going to be this. Okay, everyone's dead again, Dad.
It would appear so. That was a blisteringly fast round.
And not that really that much money on Lounge Gaming's end as well. I would have opted for an eco here if I were them, because they've been able to do a lot when SZPERO has an op in his hands. So this is a big, big investment. They're still going to have one more buy in them, even if they lose this one, but still. They're giving Dignitas a fair opportunity to actually make it to match point.
The CTs have 4 AKs.
Actually, quite a big deal as well. They're so good. They're so good. And Lounge looking to open things up with a default, perhaps into an A execute. It's hard to say at this very moment. They don't have neither side with an AWP actually as well, so it's harder to make the picks. And the smokes are still down, so gotta wait for that. MICHU actually coming back now from Ali.
But they do have 2 smokes on them, but MICHU is not one of them. So maybe they're gonna throw out a couple of smokes out into yard, try to fake an inner, now an outer take, and then use MICHU as no, MICHU's up in white wall. So they might use SZPERO actually as the bunny here to try to attract something out towards yard and maybe force a rotation.
Great timing on the flashbang. RUBINO take down the second player pushing through into B. There isn't a commitment to the rotation here from the CTs yet, but that might help things. Oskarish with 2 frags, going to get traded by RUBINO. Where is the bomb though? They haven't seen it just yet. 2 CTs left. SZPERO stuck behind a Molotov. Moving on to the A site is the bomb. There is a flank coming in from Team Main, however, from KGB, who takes down MICHU trying to protect the bomb planter. Innocent's being spotted on the other end of this train. KGB trying to pick the right side for the frag, and Innocent will dance with him and get the headshot. So RUBINO with 32 HP versus 2 Ts. The flank's already coming in from SZPERO as well. And the time is against him. He's going to have to run, reveal his position. He's going for desperation plant. Trying to bait, but he's facing the wrong way and he's going to get taken down. We will go to 3 maps. Lounge Gaming taking it 16-12 versus Dignitas. So, I mean, there were 2 rounds at the end there where, I mean, they were razor thin, the edges. Janko, what's your review of this map?
I agree. I feel that there were a lot of close rounds, but I feel the round that determined the winner in this one was the anti-eco round that Dignitas lost on the B side. They were just starting to get some momentum going. They started building up their economy as well, and then I can't really say it was a misplay from the B players. It was a combination maybe of a bit over aggressiveness and unlucky timing as well. MSL went for the flash through smoke play but couldn't find any kills. Then by the time he managed to go through the fire, he was already flanked. So, I mean, we can see how it always goes on train, that when people go for those other rushes as well, the Dignitas went for a lot in the first half. Like, it always comes down to if you can get the first kills and how much ground can you gain initially. Dignitas managed to, you know, win rounds like that a couple of times because of exceptional performance from either Config or Sandon as well, and RUBINO early on in the half. So, but in the end, I feel that one round cost them the game, unfortunately.
Well, Vendessa, anything to add post map?
No, just pretty much echoing the same thing Janko said, with that round pretty much being the nail in the coffin for Dignitas, instead of actually building up a stronger economy and pushing CSGL Lineup into a situation where they would have had to have every other buy pretty much being a weak buy and an eco. They give it away and gift CSGL Lineup a prime opportunity to take down map 2.
Map 3 is going to be Overpass. That's coming to a screen near you very shortly indeed. We'll go to a short break, and then when we come back, we will get the map and the analysts' thoughts on who may take this best of 3 and head towards Vegas. See you back here in a few minutes.